And so now the next speaker is Fabrizio Carrai from Kaiser Italia, where he is the manager of the User Support Operations Center, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
So I'll give you a 5 minutes warning.
Okay, yeah, please.
Thanks.
Okay, first of all, I would thank the organizer to invite also the industries to this event. Very interesting also for us. And okay, just a few words on my company. Okay, Kaiser Italia is a fully independent Italian company, despite the name that has been inherited. We are 100% Italian. And was born in 1986, so we are already facing 30 years of age. We work practically 100%, 90% in the space sectors. We count about 60 engineers, and we are in Livorno, in the Tuscany region, 100 kilometers from Florence, just to give you some references. We work on design manufacturing of experiments, payloads, ground support equipment, and mission operations as well. So we follow the complete life cycle of a space experiment. Okay, just a few numbers about the Kaiser Italia. I already said that 30 years of experience in the supply hardware and software solutions. But not only so mechanical production and all the kind of engineering aspect for a space product. We counted 64 space missions with over 100 payloads, ranging from sounding rockets launched from Sweden, to unmanned and manned missions, European, Russian, Japanese, Chinese platform, and we worked since the age of shuttle, now on SpaceX, and now mostly on the International Space Station. The engineering services that we offer applies to several areas: life, physical science, equipment for spacecraft, system, subsystem for mission, for exploration missions, and mission support. So that means that we not only design and manufacture the systems, but we take care also to follow the mission operations. So when we are there in flight, we follow all the data flow and the operations that occur on board. In order to support the operations, Kaiser Italia established the User Support Operations Center that we named ICARO. ICARO, in that case, is formed by two parts. One is more science-related. It's an experiment support center, the one for the development and integration of the scientific cell and the support of the scientific operations. And the second part, the one that you can see on your left, is the Payload Operation Control Center. That is our small mission control center from where we followed all the operations that occur on board. The center is linked with the major NASA centers, the Marshall and the Johnson in particular. So we get the audio, video, and data directly from the station 24 hours a day. And we, of course, we are active during the experiments that we do support. In particular, we have now an industrial support contract from ASI in order to support the full ISS utilization. So other than follow the development of new payloads, the integration, the safety aspect, we include also support services that includes also the scientific results dissemination support. Within this contract, it was requested also for a scientific publication database in order to collect all the scientific publications that have been issued by the several actors for the Italian experiments that flew on board, that flows on board the station. Of course, the database had to be accessible via web. That's the reason why within this contract, we developed this application that is, it has been named iSpark, that is an acronym of ISS Publication Archive, that organize a few informations, but are key informations. So we put it in the database all the payloads that used resources, I mean, astronaut time, power time, resources that were available on board, together with all the list of investigations. Sometimes one single payload supports more investigation, multi-user payload supports more than one investigation. And we have also inserted all the research categories that have been involved. And okay, we didn't invent these research categories, but we used the one that are listed in the ISS Program Science Forum in order to facilitate the exchange of numbers and data between ASI and NASA and all the other agencies that are involved. So we are a predefined classification. For the ones that doesn't know, it's made of 6 wide categories and a total of 62, 64 disciplines, scientific disciplines. The investigations practically are categorized in these categories, and of course all the scientific publications that have been issued with relation to the investigations inherit this research categorization. The portal, the application, you can see below the main menu of the application, practically respect this kind of relationship that have been implemented. You can see that the investigations are supported by payloads. The investigations belongs to the several research categories. The publication report on the investigations and so on. And of course, the publications are organized and published in several space journals. So we categorize also which publication goes in which space journals, also to have a kind of statistic, just to understand where the publications goes. We can use the iSpark two ways. One is a guided navigation, so we can start with the payloads list for the payload view. So we can say here on the left, on the top. Okay, you can see on the top one, the list of payloads that flew on or will flow also on the space station. Then, okay, we can jump on the investigations that are supported by that payload. And you can see also that there is also a blue button that is pub, so publications, because there are some publications that are not directly science related, but have been done in order to describe, to report on the payload itself. Sometimes they are also published before the investigation occurs on board. So, but of course, it has a result of the investments done on the research. So we can also have publications directly related to payloads. From the payloads, we can go to the investigations, or we can also jump directly to the investigation if we know what to search. And through the list, we can reach finally the list of publications that have been developed for that specific experiment. And we have the complete list of the one. No. We can also have a free text search. I wanted to be clear, it is a text search on the main key, so we can search through the payload, from the payload investigation, the titles, or the authors. Okay, for the time being, there is no text search within the publications. Anyhow, once we have identified the author, the keywords, that case, in that example, you can see the word brain, that was part of the brain experiment, but also part of the title of an Altea facility. Okay, we can have all the results that contain the keyword. Whatever is the navigation or the free text search, okay, we finally jump to the publication as it is reachable on the web. Okay, so if the publication is in open access, of course you can see the full text of the publication. If it is published on not in open access, of course you do need to have the access to the publisher, or if you have an account, or you pay for view, or or it depends on the publisher what is the limit. So practically we arrive to the final the publication that have been linked, so it's a directory. The iSpark has some other features, including the user registration, so a user can register itself on the iSpark. We have also a list of outreach events, so any kind of events or workshop or conference where could be of interest, that could be of interest for the scientist or for the developer in order to disseminate their result. The system during the registration allow the person to indicate their own interest, life science with respect to biology or other one, and in that case the system filter for you the events with respect of your area of interest of work. The registered user can also submit their own publications. Normally, periodically we run through the web, we are in contact with the agency, so we collect all the new publications that are issued, that we found on the web, and they are related, of course, to payload or to the investigation. But of course, if the person that is issuing the publication, it indicates already the publication, of course, it gets the things easier. The submittal, it's not straight, so that means that the user does not type the name and appears on the database, but it is stored temporarily on the system, so we have been alerted, and together with the agency we review the proposal. We correct, if necessary, the category. We add the missing information, like the link on the web, whatever is not completely described, and finally we publish it on the portal, on the web. For registered users, we also have reports that could be handful for other purposes. So the list of the publications already organized, sorted per investigations or per payloads, or other kind of sorting, including a final archive statistics. As you can see, now we count 180 publications for all the payloads that have been flew on the space station. Okay, thank you. I want also to highlight that there is a parallel database that is the scientific data directory. So it's a directory. It's not the online database as we have been introduced in the past days. So this is just a directory of where the data, where the samples, video, and other materials are located. And if we want to access, then we have to contact the agency to know that to have access to this data. The data are not online. Contributed to Open Universe. So iSpark and ISD satisfy the agency requirements. This is what was requested on the contract. But if we look at the Open Universe, if we imagine a Open Universe publication catalog, the things get more complex. So the context is more complex, articulated. So we imagine different space missions, multidisciplinary system, more complex investigation. So we could imagine a catalog focusing on data and publications, but we need something more and more complex. I borrowed a nice chart that was on the proposal that was prepared by Johnny, and we can see that okay, we expect a reduction of cost and knowledge if we look at the gray area. Okay, so that means that we'll have a higher number of involved people, so more scientists, but also more citizen scientists or interested citizens that could in turn also produce their own contribute to in terms of publications or information that will be on the web. Anyhow, okay, we could talk later separately about the value, the content of these new publications, but for sure we expect a higher number of scientific publications. So in that case, the simple organization that I proposed before maybe will be not enough. So because of this, we imagine a more complex relationship that has to be established in order to have a clear organization of the publications that can be reached on the web. I prepared just a couple of slides that I go through shortly. I tried to keep it simple, so sorry if they are really basic, but I hope that will let you to understand what we have in mind. So I used the Swift the Swift system, the Swift mission, and you can see that we are still in relation with the instruments that are on board. So it's a practically subsystem of the system. And we put inside the elements, the scientific object of the mission, what the mission wanted to focus on from the scientific point of view, and we considered to have a relation between reports, the gray bubble on the right side, and the several other elements. We can have a link. We can have a link that we can navigate through scientific objects, for example, for the GRB, what are the publications related to the GRB element, or we can have publications related, for example, to the instrument, because we do need to understand, it has been already said also this morning, we already need to understand how the system works in order to understand how this data, how the data are produced. Okay, so our idea is to have this basic concept that has been shown, like just the row of the database that we saw before, and we use that as big keys to which to navigate on the new system. Of course, the idea is that each element can contain several fields that can be expanded. And that could include also data set, or better, link to data set. So we don't want to replicate any kind of database, but we would like to put any more specific link to data set that are located somewhere else on the web. Of course, a data set could be linked to the instruments that generated them, or to the publications that uses it. Okay, we need to change the way from SQL relational database to another type of database. Okay, this is more informatic. And so we'll need something more complex. As we consider that as the initiative will progress, more actors will be involved, more data set will be produced, and maybe also different catalog needs will show up. Okay, this is just an example, but could fit for the time being, but very probably more different way of catalogation and relationship has to be generated. So the entities, the single bubble, need to be described by, in our opinion, by a virtual unlimited number of key values, simple tags that element, for example, title equal the title of the report, or any kind of information. I don't want to specify what, but we can list, we can tag an entity with all the keywords that we need. The new relationship, I already said that, okay, can be defined with no reduced impact on the architecture of the application. So we do want something flexible that could expand, that could reflect a new relationship that could also come from the new needs. We tried to give a
You're over.
okay, sorry, I'm the last one.
Just one.
Just one. Okay. We already plan to develop this new database, new flexible database, for organize our in-house applications, to organize in our technical and scientific publications. So at the end of the year, we should prepare this one. Kaiser Italia is available to discuss the evolution of this application for open universe needs, if considered useful, and also in general, as Kaiser Italia, we willing to support developments of what could be needed for the Open Universe initiative.
Thank you.
That's my reference, so you can find that.
We very, very short, please, Pepe.
How is this different from the ADS?
I understand that it could be something similar on with other system. This one has been dedicated to started with some specific needs of the ISS science. So something, if you want to more directly faced with the ISS requirements. Okay. In my opinion, that seems to be more basic, more simple, and more flexible. Well, if we think about the relationship that are in place, they, in my opinion, will be fixed, will be constructed by us at the very beginning. In the future, they could also expand, and each user could implement their own relationship that fits their own way to analyze, to access this data on the web.
Thank you. So let's move to the final speaker of this session.